similar looking headlamp setup, a rear that resembles the Elder. Same rim size both on the front and the rear. This is Suzuki's first low capacity cruiser here in India. But they have limited the Intruder feel to just one thing, the looks. Because almost everything else that the Intruder gets is from the Gixxer. Alright, first up we'll talk about the engine. Loved it on the Gixxer and I love it here too. It's the same 155cc mill with the same power and torque figures. The gear ratios also have been tweaked for more bottom and mid-range lunge, and that matches the stock curve very well. The throttle again is responsive and the transitions remind you so much of the old Gixxer. And with rounded tires, which are a straight fit from the naked Suzuki, riding this around the canyons was an absolute delight. With that, let's talk about the ergos. The ergos on a cruiser are all about comfort, and the baby Intruder doesn't disappoint. You have a really big seat and a very relaxed riding posture. And when you do tuck in, you have this all familiar Gixxer console that welcomes you. The suspension unit on the Intruder is the same that we see on the Gixxer. So you have 41mm telescopic forks on the front and a monoshock at the rear. But Suzuki claimed that the damping on the monoshock has been tweaked internally. The OEM setup is tilted more towards the stiffer side, and that is also one of the reasons why it's handling so well around here. However, when you hit a patch of bad road is when you realize the need to switch to a slightly softer setting. And you can do that because the monoshock at the rear is adjustable for preload. And since I've spoken about bad roads, let me also talk about the ground clearance. Because at 170mm of ground clearance, the Intruder shouldn't have a problem taking those down. So what is different then? The brake setup, but not entirely. The disc size is the same as the Gixxer series, but instead of Biber at the front and Nissan at the rear, the Intruder gets Biber for both front and rear. The disc on the front, and there's a disc at the rear, and the rear disc is coming in as standard, not as an option. Plus, with the safety backing of ABS, a single channel ABS, Suzuki has taken a step with the Intruder in the right direction. However, I wish the rear had a bite as good as the front brake, since the dynamics of a cruiser make you use the rear a lot more often. The chassis has been tweaked and the swing arm has been stretched to suit the frame of a cruiser, and that has resulted in better stability on long roads. What has gone down though is the fuel tank capacity. Since this was a very short ride, we really couldn't test the fuel economy, but Suzuki claimed that you can expect about 44 kilometers to a litre. So that